What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. So, I started this channel about a month ago. I put out a video talking about the generic Concerta. Trigen is what I was using. At the time of making that video, I was on 27 milligrams of Concerta. Well, since then, my doctor has given me different prescriptions to try different medications. So far I have tried the generic Concerta, which was Trigen. I tried generic Focalin, which was made by KVK. And then I tried generic Ritalin instant release, which was also KVK. So then I spoke to my psychiatrist and I told him I feel like they weren't really helping my symptoms overall. So far, I mean, I feel like the generic Concerta could be something good, but for me personally, I feel like that particular generic just wasn't consistent enough for me to continue using. So he decided to put me on Vyvanse, fast forward. And at the time, my pharmacy that I use did not have any generic Vyvanse. So I was able to get name brand. They had name brand, but not generic. You know, usually it's the other way around. But I went ahead and got the name brand because my insurance does cover it, but my copay is $50, which I guess isn't bad for some because I hear a lot of people pay a lot of money for that medication. And so I just want to kind of go over my experience with the whole name brand Vyvanse and also talk about the generic Vyvanse because he only gave me a 2-week prescription, and after the 2 weeks, you know, I didn't have another appointment with him for over a month. So I sent him a message and he sent me another prescription for the same medication, but this time the pharmacy had the generic and I didn't want to pay the $50 for a 2-week supply. So I decided to go ahead and get the generic and just kind of try it out and see if there was an actual noticeable difference, because I just, you know, since it's only in 2-week increments, I didn't want to just, you know, pay another $50. So I figured, like, why not try the generic? And then when I go back to see him again, if it's something that's, you know, working well for me, then I can get another prescription and just pay, you know, the $50 for the month and get name brand. So name brand is what I started with. So first off, I feel this was my first actual like amphetamine based medication that I've tried, because the other ones were all methylphenidate and they act differently on the brain. I know amphetamines are more, you know, they also act on serotonin, which methylphenidate does not, if I'm not mistaken. So I felt like the Vyvanse name brand was kind of, I feel like it is a lot smoother. Like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I feel like it's pretty smooth when it comes to like just peaking and just the overall levels of the feeling and just how it helps the overall symptoms. But the one thing I do notice about the Vyvanse is it really messes with my moods, and I feel like it really makes me irritable. Like, I get so frustrated over the dumbest things. I'm always irritable, but it really helps with my focus. It helps me really pay attention and really focus on what I'm doing. And that's one thing I really like about it, but I feel it just really messes with my mood regulation. And I already have issues with that without the medication. I struggle with the constant mood regulation going, you know, just being easily irritated. Even like a tapping of a noise without medication frustrates me, or people slamming doors, or people just overall being loud, talking loud. It just really like irritates me without the medication. Well, so when I'm taking Vyvanse, I feel like it's worse. I feel like it's even worse. Like, it's enhanced. Like, I can't deal with it like whatsoever. So I tried Vyvanse for 2 weeks. I did skip days just because I wanted to see if my moods would kind of balance out a little bit. And I felt like when I didn't take it, I was better as far as the moods. And on the days I didn't take it, I did take my generic methylphenidate extended release that I had, because I felt like, let me just try this. And one thing with methylphenidate for me I feel like it really stabilizes my mood, and Vyvanse does the opposite. So I feel like methylphenidate really helps me with my moods. As far as my symptoms, it's not as efficient as the Vyvanse. So as far as like the Vyvanse, I feel like it's really good. It's very stable when it comes to just the overall medication working. So fast forward 2 weeks and I get the refill of generic Vyvanse, which is lisdexamfetamine. I went ahead and got that, and I wanted to try it to see if there's a difference. So overall, the differences that I noticed between the name brand and the generic, one thing I noticed about the generic is that it has a certain time in its peak where it really feels like it shoots up. And that's what the generic Concerta did. Like I feel like the generic that I have is by Rhodes Pharmaceutical. It felt like there were some points where I just felt like the medication just really shot up as far as like the peak in the blood. So I feel like the generic isn't as stable as the name brand. So if you look at like the pills, they're literally like almost identical to each other. The only difference is one's gonna have RP 30 mg and the other one is going to have a S489 30 mg, but they look almost identical. But overall, I feel that Vyvanse is really, I wouldn't say that it's been like the one that I'm really kind of veering more towards, because I feel like methylphenidate kind of helps me a little more when it just comes to, because to me, being stuck in that really like hyper focus to do things but to be moody about it, it's almost like a tiebreaker for me. Like I'd almost rather be like happy and about doing things versus like irritable and be hyper focused, because I do have a family and I don't feel it's fair to them for me to be acting like that. So the whole point of me like pursuing the ADHD journey is because I'm trying to better myself for my family, try to, you know, help improve the things that I suffer in, because I was diagnosed as a child in 4th grade. So I'm trying to improve myself and my family as much as I can to better myself, and I feel like that is very important when it comes to a family. So that's my experience with the Vyvanse. I know there's a lot of people out there, you don't see a lot of videos of people talking about generics and Vyvanse. It's just, I feel like it's important, because I think it's very important for people who take this medication, because these medications can be have really crazy side effects if you're not careful. And sometimes, like, even though a dosage isn't high, like I'm on 30 milligrams of Vyvanse or lisdexamfetamine, and it's not really considered a high dose. So for the most part, I feel like the medication isn't strong. But like today, I feel like about 6.5 hours, almost 7, I felt like this huge peak to where I was just like really stimulated from the medication. But then it went back down. So it didn't last. But the whole point is, it really hit me to where I was just like almost like I started doing like the mouth movements, and I was just kind of like almost like freaking out, like anxiety. But it was so quick and over with that, you know, it was just, then it came back down. But like stuff like that, I haven't had that experience with the name brand. So that's what I'm saying. Like generics can act differently than the name brand. So that's a very important factor when it comes to these medications. So I thought I'd make a video and give you my input on my experience with it. I think it's very important to talk about. And, you know, people talk about these medications kind of like generic, oh, it's the same active ingredient, but there's a lot of different things that go into generics are different from the name brand, like the fillers, the binders, and sometimes our bodies won't react to those fillers or binders in a positive way compared to the name brand. So a lot of these other factors play a role when it comes to finding the right medication. Anyone who has tried this medication and with generics or whatever, just leave your comments down below. I'd like to know, because I see so many videos on YouTube where people are just constantly telling their story about day 1, day 2, day 3 medications, which is fine. It's good and all, but I just want a summary. Like, I don't have the attention span to sit there and listen to someone talk about every single day and every moment. I don't know what they're going through with medication. I don't have the brain capacity with my symptoms. So let me know what your thoughts are, what your experience is. Do you have any questions? All that good stuff. I appreciate everybody stopping by and taking your time to watch the video. So that's gonna do it, guys. See you guys on the next one. Take care.